Formerly suicidal redditors, what's something that kept you alive a little while longer and helped you to get through the dark times in your lives? I realized that if I could control whether I lived or died, then I could control the way my life was going. It then took a lot of therapy, OCD diagnosis, and some meds, but we're here 10 years later living a lovely life with a caring partner and a kick-ass job. My cat. I got him when I needed something in my life worth living for. I got a tattoo of a cat on my arm shortly after. When people see it, they probably think it's a lame tattoo, but it means so much to me, because my cat saved my life. The suicide hotline saved my life. I was about to crash my car at high speeds, but I chose to try one last thing. Called, and the woman validated my feeling, which I never had before. I cried so hard 'cause it showed me I could be properly loved. Started going to therapy, and that helped so much. I like to think that I really didn't want to. I was looking for a reason not to. I ended up calling one of those suicidal hotlines, and in hindsight I was hoping to be talked out of it. I had notes already written and my method was already set. The one thing that stuck by me was when the person on the other line said something along the lines of, "You have a duty to tell someone ahead of time." I ended up telling my wife and getting the help that I needed. She had no idea. I thought about the young kids I used to babysit, and how their parents would have to explain how I was gone. I couldn't scar them like that. My dad's dad killed himself. I realized I couldn't put my dad through that again. Honestly, sheer willpower. It's exactly as hard as it sounds, and then one day you realize you're not forcing it anymore. Maybe you're not happy, but you aren't exerting all the energy you have to keep yourself alive anymore. Then you have a little extra energy to devote yourself to things that make you a little happier. Time. And a friend who got exceedingly drunk with me one time at 3:45 a.m. I would think about how people would shit talk me being a bitch if I did kill myself, so I convinced myself not to. Thumbs up. Sort of spite, really. I'm not about to let any of the various things that have left me suicidal have me do the dirty work for them. Bullies, finances, cancer, to name the few that spring immediately to mind. If they want me dead that bad, they're gonna have to get their own hands dirty, dagnabbit, and probably try a whole hell of a lot harder than they have been to get it done. It's always there. Only an inch away sometimes. A tough patch, and the shame, the worthlessness, the self-loathing all come back so familiarly. Because they were never gone. Just latent. There's always been something that's held me back, kept in ideation and out of action. My parents, my wife. Now my daughter. Couldn't put that weight on her. My husband, finding my search history on ways to kill myself without leaving a mess behind for him to find. He had me committed. As much as I hated it then, I truly thought I deserved to die. He saved my life. Him and our 3 kids is what keeps me waking up every day, even if it's a bad day. I knew that if I did, my mom would soon follow, and my sisters need her. Competitive flight sims, dogfighting in VR and whatnot. My dogs not having their owner, my snake not being properly taken care of, my family, friends and family who actually cares about me, not necessarily blood family. That's what keeps me at bay. And my cat. Mom would be sad my dog wouldn't know where I went. Righteous indignation. Turns out that healthy anger is a powerful motivator to fight back out of the depths. I know people will 3000% shit on this and hate me for it, but honestly, drugs, man. After suffering suicidal depression and nymphomania, the ability for a substance to take me away from the place I was in, even for a second, was enough to snap me out of whatever I was going though. Also, this isn't about hard drugs like heroin or meth, but more popular recreational drugs along with prescription antidepressants like lithium, Effexa, etc. Sounds terrible at first glance, but really began to teach me other ways to appreciate what I have and to accept it, instead of constantly find a way to reject it and bury myself even deeper into the ground. As hilarious and disgusting as it is, seeing the life insurance policy my abusive mother made, that kept me going. "Fuck you, you don't deserve 50k for making me wish I was dead," basically was my thought process. I wanted to die in 6th grade. But the thought of my sister not knowing who I am kept me. I haven't seen her since she was a baby, she's about 4 now. I have to be a part of her life at some point. She's literally the only thing that kept me. I was rationalizing that my family would move on eventually and wondering how to do it. I'm only better off now because I wrote I want to die and I don't want to be here anymore on the tops of some pages in my math notebook. My teacher caught it when she graded those pages and gave me a choice of going to the counselor or telling my parents. I chose the counselor. I couldn't let myself off that easily. I thought that I deserved the punishment of living and didn't deserve the release of death. Very toxic, I know, but I'm doing much better now. In a way, my depressed brain preserved itself. My friend committed suicide 3 years ago, and I still cry myself to sleep when I remember the long summer's nights we spent together. I could never do this to my friends and family. The feeling of maybe I didn't understand the warning signs he was giving me is awful, and I seriously doubt it would ever go away. My depression said yes, my anxiety said no. Learning to view my feelings through meditation. I imagine a river, and watch my feelings flow down it. It doesn't rid you of negative feelings, but it creates some distance emotionally. I wanted to know what happened next. I planned on killing myself after high school, but then the first black president might get elected. He did. Then I wanted to try college. I said after my first semester. Then I met my BF. I thought, why not? Suddenly we are married. I thought maybe it's worth it. Now we have a kid together. He has no idea that he saved my life. I wish I was joking, but anime and pure fucking spite for my family. When I told them how I was feeling, they were like, people who have depression are like carriers of the plague. How TF was I supposed to react to? Keep reminding yourself that you don't actually want to be dead. You just don't want to deal with the stuff going on in your life. Even if you don't really believe that whatever is going on will disappear anytime soon, if ever, the reminder that you don't actually want to be dead is probably the most significant thing to understand. Even suicidal people have things they still want to do in life, even if they stopped believing those things are possible or realistic. Suicide equals death. You don't want to be dead. So then suicide ain't the answer. Keep searching for another answer. 1. Kids. 2. Kids would have to be raised by my ex. 3. A funny Twitter post from Satan saying suicide is bad and you have to outlive your enemies. 4. Lose weight. Get in shape. Fuck a lot of people. Mine is the fact that I haven't changed my will yet, and my sister would get the inheritance if I died now. I hate my sister. Thinking that my children didn't deserve to grow up as orphans kept me going. Husband died 4.5 years ago when they were 7. I told myself that I would end it on December 31st, 2016. Beginning of the month I met this guy that in the future would turn into my now husband. He showed me the life, it's so much better than what I was living. Karmic balance will destroy those who are unjust. It was the fear of surviving, funnily enough. Like if I were to fuck up and end up in a vegetative state. That would be a fate worse than death. Thinking about all the people who care about me and how they would feel if I did take my own life. Also talking about it and just communicating with people, because getting it off my chest was helpful, and to know I'm not alone and I have an outlet for my pain. Just doing things I enjoyed helped too, because it made me forget and just enjoy the book I'm reading, or the video game I was playing. I thought about what it would feel like if I lost a family member/friend to suicide. It would make me feel so much guilt and anger and sadness and confusion and regret. I also thought about what my cats would think if they never saw me again. They really helped me pull through, even though they're commonly misconceived to not show affection or love. I could not abandon my daughter like that. Remembering that I have survived the hardest days of my life so far and come out the other side. And because of that I can try and survive this one too. Then I tell my closest confidant that I am feeling suicidal so they can be aware of my behavior and help me get help if needed. Sometimes it is hard to recognize when I have emotionally checked out and am feeling what I describe as hollow inside. Luckily for me, I have a faithful support system that understands my depression is not something I can control, so they are always down to help. I just got fed up with feeling sorry for myself, and decided if I was gonna die it was at least going to be while I was trying to do something great for myself.